What does a Kenya safari look like? In today's video, Shelley and I are sitting down to give you an overview and reflect on how we spent 15 days exploring southern Kenya on safari. We're so excited to talk about where we stayed, where we went, how we did it, all those good things so you can get a sense of what your Kenya safari can look like. But before we jump into it, opening sequence. Hello safari travelers, welcome back for an all new Safari Insights video. I'm Jeff and joining me today is
Shelley.
We are so excited to be sitting down to talk about our recent Kenya safari experience. In this video, we're gonna break down how we spent each day of our trip, where we went, talk about what we enjoyed. We're gonna compare some different safari lodges and camps where we stayed, and of course share some special moments with you too, all the highlights. This video is meant to give you a sense of what a Kenya safari can look like. As a safari travel advisor, I design custom tailored trips to places like Kenya, so hopefully this video gives you an idea or some inspiration on where you might want to visit. We're going to be covering a lot of iconic destinations in Kenya in this video, and we're really excited to share our perspectives on them on this most recent adventure. If you want to start planning your safari in Kenya, please reach out to me. You can find my safari inquiry form linked below. I'm also going to have a QR code here that you can scan, send it my way, and we'll start planning your dream trip. And if you're not ready to start planning, maybe you're just curious to know what a trip like this is like, that's what this video is for. All right, you ready, Shelley?
I am ready. I have so much to yap about, so let's get started.
A few disclosures before we jump into it. Everyone always asks, when did we travel? This trip was in the first few weeks of November, so definitely a shoulder period, not as many vehicles out there, less tourism density. It's a very underrated time to travel.
Totally, and it's a little rainier than expected, but the rain has not deterred us at all in the last 30 days.
I agree. We got some rain shine, but truly this is one of our favorite times to travel, and we definitely recommend it if you have the flexibility. Kenya we consider as a year-round destination. You can't go wrong. We've traveled here during peak season, the springtime, rainy season, and now here in November. So just to give you a sense of what time of year you might want to visit. Another disclosure is that this itinerary is in the mid-range to ultra-luxury category. I do want to mention that even if you don't want luxury stays for your entire Kenya trip, there are still some fantastic options that we can include in your trips that offer fantastic value in a lot of these same locations. Throughout this video, you're gonna see some fun faces. Shelley and I, of course, traveled the entire duration of the trip, but you're also gonna see Alex, our creative collaborator that joined us for the majority of the trip.
Our third.
And then my colleague Paul joined us periodically as well. Then we experienced multiple guides provided by the different camps and lodges. So you're gonna see a lot of characters throughout this video.
Characters that became friends, that became family.
Definitely. That's enough context. Let's jump into it. Are you ready?
Let's dive right in.
Let's do it, starting with day one. On day one, our adventure began here in Nairobi, where we had spent the night at the Tamarind Tree Hotel. And from there, we transferred to the train station for a little train safari.
Oh yeah.
Train safari. We decided to take the train because transferring by road can sometimes be long and bumpy, and our first destination was Tsavo West National Park. So to streamline and expedite our transfer time, we decided to hop on the train. Let's talk about what it was like to ride a train in Kenya for the first time. What was your thoughts?
I personally was a huge fan of the train, not just because I'm a train lover in general, but for the reasons Jeff mentioned. It was practical, it streamlined the trip. It was super smooth, you guys.
And it was really cool because out the window, there's lots to look at. We actually trained alongside Nairobi National Park. With my partner operators here, we didn't have to think about a thing when navigating the train station upon arrival. We had a liaison take us through security and all the way to the gate. So we just had to do the motions, making that travel really easy.
And if anyone's feeling a little apprehensive in terms of safety, you are in such good hands. There's more security checkpoints than I have seen anywhere. you are well taken care of.
And once you're to the gate, it's really relaxed. Anyway, I was very skeptical of taking the train at first, if I'm being completely honest, but I'm super glad we did it, and I would definitely recommend it. All in all, I made the journey fast, and we arrived at our destination in the early afternoon. And there waiting for us was our primary driver of the trip, Simon. And guess what? We only had to drive 5 minutes from the station before we were inside the park. We went through the gates. As soon as we crossed through the gates, we were officially on safari. Our first game drive of the itinerary. On the way, we spotted some giraffes, zebra, baboon, and more. And we made our way to the first camp of the trip, the Severin Safari Camp.
Yes.
What did you think of this camp?
I personally really enjoyed it. It has kind of that old school safari charm, the stone floors and the wooden interiors, wooden antique furniture. And my favorite part personally was when you go out to dine or you sit by the bonfire, there's so much wildlife.
It's wild.
It's wild.
There was a lot of wildlife roaming around the camp, and we had a very excited zebra come visit us for dinner.
We went viral off this video. Check out TikTok.
This zebra was really showing off. I think it was skipping the appetizer and going straight to dessert.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah. You never know what you're gonna see next on safari.
And we did see an elephant.
We did, right outside our tent. That was fun. So we unpacked our bags and made this camp our home for 2 nights. On day 2, we spent the whole day enjoying the camp and going on several game drives in Tsavo. Tsavo is so different from Kenya's other parks. It's got massive landscapes, red earth, and incredible volcanic formations. So a few points of interest in Tsavo, we stopped at Mazimba Springs, which is a natural freshwater oasis fed by underground streams. It's famous for its crystal clear pools, its hippos, and an underwater viewing chamber where you can see fish and sometimes wildlife up close. We also stopped at the Shitani lava flow, which is a massive black lava field created by a volcanic eruption several hundred years ago. It stretches across Tsavo West and gives the whole landscape this dramatic, otherworldly feel. What do you like about Tsavo?
So the elephants in Tsavo, they dust themselves in the dirt, which is red, which leaves them this gorgeous coppery red color. And when they dry off, it dries into this white, powdery kind of look. And I like calling those elephants powdered donuts. And I think they just photograph so gorgeously against the dome palm trees.
Yeah, love Tsavo. It is a bit of a warmer place to visit. You want to comment about the temperature?
Yeah, so me, heat sensitive, I found Tsavo to be a bit hotter than the other places that we've been to, mostly during midday, around 11 to 5. But that said, our rooms had fans, the open spaces were cool, and
it was a great
breezy.
time to use the pool.
Great time for the pool, and also the pool was great.
The pool was a party. There was zebras, giraffes, everyone was coming for the pool
We
party.
loved hanging out at the pool.
A great way to cool off.
Yes.
After 2 awesome days in Tsavo, we continued our adventures to Amboseli National Park for days 3 and 4. Amboseli is one of the most iconic places in all of Kenya. It is near the border of Tanzania, and it's most well known for its backdrop, where you can see Mount Kilimanjaro in all its glory. It's also known for its big tuskers, which are elephants with tusks that are so long they nearly scrape the ground. What's more epic than a big tusker standing in front of Kilimanjaro? This is what draws a lot of people in, but it's not just these features. There's so much wildlife to explore here, and it was so fun to take Shelley there for the first time ever.
As we drove into Amboseli, it truly took my breath away. I was not expecting the diversity of landscapes. We drove through vast golden plains,
and then all of a sudden,
wetlands with streams and lakes and so many flamingos.
What I love about Amboseli is it's not a big park, but it supports so many different biomes within it.
It is a photographer's wet dream, you guys. We had some of our very best sightings there.
Amboseli is also known as the Land of Giants, so it's a huge elephant destination. We were completely surrounded by them multiple times. It was awesome.
It was absolutely a dream.
In Amboseli, we checked into the Elawana Tortillas camp, which is set on a private side of the park. What did you like about this camp?
Okay, you guys, the Tortillas camp was something out of a movie. I know we've been raving about all of these places we've stayed in, but this was truly spectacular, and it is one of the most popular, if not the most popular place to stay in Amboseli, and it completely makes sense. As soon as you walk in, it's like you are engulfed in this chamber of safari goodness. That's the only
that.
way I can describe it. The staff Elawana, as per usual, so warm and welcoming. They hand out towels and cool drinks. You'll be a little dusty after the drive in. Also, you have a giant watering hole right in front of the seating area, so you can watch animals roam in and out all day long. For my foodies out there, you will be in paradise.
That's where Shelley had her Elawana baby.
I had my Elawana baby. I gave birth to twins.
This camp puts on a big production. They put on some amazing sundowners, bush breakfast. The game drives were spectacular. And if you decide to stay at the camp the entire time, you can't go wrong with that either. It's a very lovely place to stay. And unlike a lot of accommodation options in the Amboseli area, this is within the wildlife zone. Many of the camps are outside of the park boundaries, but here you feel very immersed. One of the biggest highlights during our time in Amboseli was riding the hot air balloon. There's only one company licensed to operate in Amboseli, and we finally got to try it for ourselves. For this experience, we did have to wake up very, very early. I think we were on the road by 4 a.m. But trust me, you guys, if you're interested in the balloon ride, it's absolutely worth it. The hot air balloons rise in the early morning because the climate's a lot more predictable, the air is very calm, and it's up from the sky. You can enjoy a sunrise like no other.
As we rose up high in the air, we made eye contact with Kilimanjaro.
He was being
so
quite shy up until that point. We had some overcast, some clouds covering it, but it was like as soon as we lifted, so did the clouds, and we got our first view of Kilimanjaro on this trip. It was epic.
It was so epic, you guys, and I just want to say the balloon ride was so smooth, so gentle. For anyone who is a little nervous about hot air balloon rides like I was, I just want to reassure, it was a very smooth ride. We were handled with so much care. The team worked like a well-oiled machine, and there's no sudden drops, no being shooken around. You're just gently lifted up into space.
It's a very serene, tranquil, calm experience. That's what I wasn't expecting. I don't know why I thought it might be a bumpier, more of a thrill ride kind of activity, but it definitely wasn't. The pilot did an excellent job of doing all of his safety protocols, making sure everything was up to snuff. Floating in the air was surreal. I really have to say the hot air balloon exceeded my expectations. Nothing like seeing this landscape at golden light during sunrise hour. What a magical moment.
Not to mention, and not to mention the wildlife that we saw from up above. Seeing wildlife from an aerial point of view is just, there is nothing like it.
And instead of having a motor or a jet engine, it's silence. I found this experience to be really good value. After the balloon ride, they do a whole ceremony, a historical spiel, breakfast is included. They do a great job, so I was very impressed.
Forgot about the breakfast.
The
and the
breakfast was
mimosas.
awesome. They were popping champagne. They even sabered champagne. It wasn't even 9 in the morning yet. Anyway, it was a party. If you want it to be a party, it can be a party. Now back to the itinerary. We're on day 5. On day 5, we ventured from Amboseli and made the road trip up to Lake Naivasha. This was definitely one of the longer transfers on our trip, but we embraced the road trip for what it was. Shelley, maybe you can speak to why road trip transfers are so fun. Trust me, you guys, when you're looking out the window in East Africa, there's never a dull moment.
Even though we might spend hours on transfers on the road, they are never a bore. I actually really love the transfer times, especially on the paved roads, just because you're go, go, go on safari. You don't get much time to yourself, and it really is in those blessed hours that you can put your headphones on, think about everything you've seen and experienced. I love to open up the window and just watch a life that is so foreign from my own.
It's good processing time. And I think it allows travelers to get a full scope of what Kenya is all about. You get a glimpse at local communities, regular life in Kenya. You pass through agricultural zones, small towns.
It really is a great learning and educational experience because your guides will be very well educated on everything Kenya. So Jeff and I, we are usually just popping off questions left and right as we're on the drive, as we see things that maybe we haven't seen before or we're curious about. Yeah, I feel like I end the transfers a little wiser.
Definitely. So this transfer, if we take into account all the bathroom breaks and whatnot, a few souvenir stops, it lasted about 6 hours. It was very scenic. We got to drive along the Great Rift Valley of Kenya, which is considered the cradle of humanity. Amazing sweeping views of the valley up from this point. It makes the road trip really interesting all the way through. And once you arrive in Lake Naivasha, the scenery doesn't end. This place is gorgeous. And it's from there we checked into the Sopa Naivasha Resort. This was a really fun stay, a nice one-night pit stop. It's right on the lake, and it's from there we got to enjoy a few unique activities, and this is why I always like to include Naivasha on safari itineraries. Here we went on a boat cruise, a boat safari, which allows you to cruise alongside hippopods. The bird life is prolific. We took the boat to Crescent Island, which is an animal sanctuary. Don't worry, it is predator-free, which means you can walk around with the giraffes, with the zebras, with the gazelles.
I was actually really surprised by how much I loved this island. As soon as we arrived, we were just greeted with zebras, giraffe, roaming freely.
Like Shelley said, our guide walked us around for about an hour. It was nice to stretch our legs after that road trip. A really cool, unique stop to include on your Kenya adventures. The resort we stayed in. We really enjoyed this spot. The grounds were beautiful. There was lots to explore, lots of amenities. What did you think?
Would totally recommend this lodge to everybody, but I would specifically highlight families with young children. Amazing spot to bring your family. Also, the grounds of this lodge are super pedestrian friendly. Jeff and Alex went for some runs. I didn't. Lots of space for nature walks along with the zebras. Couldn't recommend enough.
So we made Naivasha pit stop because it was breaking up our journey to our final destination, the one and only, the iconic Maasai Mara National Reserve. This is arguably one of the most popular safari destinations in all of Africa, but for good reason. So most travelers spend about 3 to 4 days here, I'd say, sometimes a bit longer, but we decided to really dive in, really savor it, and extend our trip in the Mara to be almost 10 days.
Wow.
The reason for this is because as a travel advisor, I love to explore all the different camp styles, all the different lodge options, so I can best pair them with clients. And I really wanted to get an understanding of the different sectors, the different zones. So on our Mara adventure, we broke up our trip to spend some time in the north, the west, the south, and the east. And all of these different zones had special qualities about them that we're going to talk about in this video. The differences between these zones is not the wildlife and the nature, because it's all one continuous ecosystem. There's no fence lines between them. The difference is how they're operated and managed. And therefore, some of the safari experiences vary slightly between them. So let's talk about it. Our adventures started on days 6 and 8 in one of my favorite safari destinations in the world, and that is the Mara North Conservancy. The Mara North, unlike the National Reserve, is community-led and community-owned, which means that the local people lease this land to their tourism partners. So the camp we stayed in, which we'll get into in a second, they pay the community a fee to exist there. The Mara North has its own rules and regulations. It's a lot more exclusive, a lot more private. They limit the amount of vehicles to 5 at each sighting, which allows you to have these more intimate experiences with the wildlife. It doesn't put pressure on the animals. The other difference too is that this is active community land. So here you might run into a shepherd with a bunch of goats. You might run into a rancher herding his cattle. It's this beautiful system of coexistence between the community, wildlife, nature, and tourists. So that's the difference of what the feel is like in the Mara North. It's here we spent 3 full nights checking into a camp called the Syrian Original. What did you love about the Syrian camp?
I would say that the Syrian camp felt like medicine.
It did.
It felt like a soothing balm on like dry, cracked skin.
I love that.
That's truly how it felt. The Syrian camp was very community driven, very focused on wellness, getting yourself some R&R. The rooms overlooked the river where you could see and hear hippos, so many wildlife sounds throughout the night. Something I really enjoyed about the Syrian camp was kind of the way that it was designed very intentionally to maximize presence. The dinner table was the first of this kind that I've seen so far on this trip, but it was one very long dinner table. The guests eat at the same time. The staff also sit down with you, really forces you to be present, away from your screens, connect with others, take care of yourself.
It invites this place for connection, whether it's with your guide or the other staff members or other travelers passing through. Absolutely love the storybook charm of this place. Absolutely love the Syrian team. If you guys are watching, love ya.
Love you guys.
Our guide here was spectacular, extremely knowledgeable, brilliant. Just a soulful experience, everything about it. During our time in the Mara North, we got to check out the other Syrian camps in the same area. This would include Kimya, which is a place you book with a larger group. It's a private thing you book separately. The character and charm of this spot was unbelievable. We would totally stay there if we had a bigger safari squad. So it's from the Syrian camp. We enjoyed several days of memorable game drives. We saw some awesome stuff out there. All the big cats. We saw cheetahs, lion prides, hyenas chomping on a hippo. There's never a boring moment in the Mara. It's such a spectacular place to go on safari. And then on our last day, when we checked out of the camp, we did something out of the ordinary. On day 8, we participated in an event, a fundraiser called the Ultra Marathon. This is an organized 50K race through the Mara North Conservancy, our first ever running safari. We've been on a lot of safaris, but never a running
That was
safari.
a new one.
The funds they raised for this event goes towards healthcare initiatives, education projects for the local community, some wildlife conservation work happening in the Mara North. And if you're wondering if this race is safe, because you might encounter elephant, Cape buffalo, hippos, lions, the rangers are patrolling the entire length of the race. They are stationed all throughout, so we felt very safe.
There's choppers surveilling the area from above. You are totally fine.
So if you want to stretch your legs after a lot of game drives, this is perhaps the best way you can do it. What did you think about this race?
It was a little audacious to try and run a marathon after being on safari for a month. It was a little bit of a struggle, but it was actually one of my highlights from the trip. There was this sense of community euphoria. Everyone did something challenging that they didn't have to do, but they did because something that everyone cared about, which is preserving these lands and raising funds that would go towards
all of these great causes.
Yes.
For the record, we did not run the entire length of the race. We broke it up into 4 sections and ran as a relay team. So stoked about our team. Well done.
Thanks, bud.
We
Jeff,
did it.
Ran the last bit, which was the hardest and the hottest. So big ups to our boss, Jeff.
I'm so glad they had electrolyte stations throughout because that was crucial. To anyone who donated and supported our team, thank you so much.
Thank
the Mara
you so
North
much,
Conservancy
guys.
appreciates it. It was so great to shine a spotlight on this and support something we love. So on days 9 and 10, we ventured west to the Mara Triangle to explore the next zone of the Mara. What I love about the Mara Triangle is it's really safeguarded. They take anti-poaching units very seriously here. So they like to keep the black rhino, the very rare black rhino, in these zones for safety purposes, which means as a traveler, you can have the highest chances of spotting all the big 5 here. There's less camps here, there's less vehicle density. The Mara Triangle overall is a really cool sector to visit. And it's there we checked into perhaps one of our most upscale stays of the entire trip. We stayed at the sanctuary Olanana. We got a royal spoiling here, didn't we?
Okay, cue clips because they will speak for themselves. I think easily the most luxurious place I have ever stepped foot in.
It is ultra luxury.
Ultra luxury.
The vibe here is very different from the places we've stayed previously. You're staying in a full-on house. It's in its own enclave overlooking the Mara River.
Olanana is a great choice for the traveler that's maybe seeking a more comfortable travel experience, maybe not as interested in feeling as immersed in nature as the typical tent camps.
Very contemporary feel, top-notch service, and the food was exquisite. What's wrong with getting spoiled once in a while?
Speaking of spoiled, I actually celebrated my graduation dinner here, and what better place to celebrate?
It was beautiful.
It was perfect for a royal spoiling. I definitely got it.
They got you on the dance floor.
They got me on the dance floor. There's singing, there's cakes.
This kind of stay is definitely for the traveler who likes ultra luxury. On days 11 and 12, our mega safari continued south where we checked into the Sand River Camp, another camp operated by the Alawana Collection, one of our favorites. This is a much more removed area of the Mara. There's not many camps here. Sand River is its own gentle stream. It's a really dried up, sandy, beachy riverbed. The camp had this elegant feel to it.
Maybe I would say kind of the opposite of the Olanana. It was giving traditional old school safari, the canvas tents, the old antique furniture, Alajuana's signature style with the food.
Open shower overlooking the landscape. You won't miss a sighting when you're in that shower. And you'll become a sighting yourself. I think it really embodied the quintessential safari experience. During our time at Sand River, we had the opportunity to go on another hot air balloon ride. I wanted to compare the two balloon rides, and if you're curious about the full comparison, I'm gonna make a video separately all about that. But it was my first time to suspend ourselves in the air to see the Mara from a bird's eye view. Again, we woke up really early in the morning, was on the balloon by 6 a.m., watched sunrise. What was your experience on this ride like?
Well, Jeff
Gotcha.
and Paul really got me good. I did not know what hit me. I was zoning out during the drive. I was very confused because I was told we're going to a rhino sanctuary with only one rhino and one baby. And so I was just really confused why we were getting up so early to see.
But you went with it.
I went with it, you know, and I get out. I'm extremely confused and still asleep. And it is told to me that we're going on a hot air balloon over the Mara. That was the biggest surprise of my entire life.
It was so fun to surprise you. You just weren't getting it right away.
I'm very slow, especially in the morning.
Riding a balloon over the Masai Mara, what was that like?
Yeah, I would say one of my best life experiences I've ever had. Our captain had us riding low above the ground, so we got to see giraffes,
Topi, zebra.
Giant herds of antelope, hundreds and hundreds, maybe even thousands, roaming right below us.
Sometimes when you're driving through the Mara, you don't really understand the scale and the full scope of this landscape. But when you get a bird's eye view of it, you can see so much and you understand the vastness, how sprawling it really is. There's so much to see. It's spectacular.
It's not only like viewing something from drone footage, it's like you are the drone. Like you are being flown over the savannah just so gently. I run out of words to describe how special this experience was.
It's
especially
really
because
special.
Jeff surprised me again.
I just want to address something. Sometimes people have come to me with some ethical concerns about hot air balloons, especially for elephants, because the elephants aren't really fond of them. I have to give credit to our captain, who's very conscientious of the elephant herds we encountered. When he got too low and you could tell that the elephants were starting to get agitated, he would raise the balloon up so we got out of their hair. His goal was not to put any stress on the animals, no pressure whatsoever. Most of the elephant herds we saw, they were completely unbothered by our presence. It was only the ones with young calves that were a bit more sensitive to it. I was really happy to see that, and it felt good that we weren't being too intrusive.
And after the hot air balloon ride, we were served with this amazing bush breakfast, mimosas galore, fantastic omelets, might I say.
What a production. We're now on day 13 and 14, where we explored the eastern sector of the Masai Mara. I would say this zone is perhaps the most traveled, just because it provides closer access to Naivasha and Nairobi. There are a lot of camps here, and this area would be considered the primary gate to the Maasai Mara National Reserve. So it's here we checked into the Little Zebra Camp, which is part of the zebra collection. They have several camps in this area as well. The Little Zebra is a bit more boutique, a bit smaller. Shelley absolutely loved this camp.
It's my personal favorite, you guys.
It provides really great value for travelers who aren't looking for ultra luxury, super high end. It's a bit outside of the park entrance, but you can still see lots of wildlife right from where you're staying. A lot of our clients love this spot. It's one of our most popular camps because the price point is very agreeable and you get an awesome Mara experience. That's all I can say.
Can I rave a little?
Yeah.
So as I mentioned, you guys, this is my favorite safari lodge, I think maybe ever.
Whoa.
I would say things like the staff, the hospitality, some of the best that we've had. The team is so witty, so fun. We made really great friends amongst all of them. Something else I really loved about this camp was how comfortable the tents were. So because the tents are built out of concrete and laid over with canvas, they stay very cool. But beyond that, there is 2 fans.
She was
fans,
a fan
you guys.
of the fans.
I was a big fan of the fans. We both stayed really cool. The Mara days get really hot.
I think of all the creature comforts, Shelley will opt in for the fan above anything else.
I will.
Yeah.
You guys can sense a theme.
Her Canadian is showing.
It is.
On day 15, our final day of the itinerary, we made the journey from the Maasai Mara back to Nairobi, where we are now. We have checked into the gorgeous Karen Gables Lodge. This is a small boutique stay in the Karen area of Nairobi. It's its own sanctuary and the perfect place to process the experience we just had.
It's in its own enclave, almost cocooned by these giant trees, away from the noise and the busyness of the city. It's a great place for anyone who's just looking for, whether it's a short rest stop or you want to spend a couple days and get some R&R. It's a bed and breakfast. This truly feels like we are resting in someone's home.
Well, it is someone's home. I just met the owner, and it was built as a private residence. And then he was saying he had so many guests coming in all the time. He's like, I should probably welcome in even more guests and make this a formal hospitality experience. Really a delightful stay, a great way to finish our trip. It's here, we are recovering, we're relaxing, we're getting rejuvenated before our long journey home. A great final landing pad. I think it's worth mentioning that a lot of travelers passing through Nairobi make a day out of their pit stops here. You can visit the Giraffe Center, which is a popular point of interest along the tourist trail. There's also the David Sheldrick's Elephant Orphanage. Everyone loves baby elephants. You gotta stop in here and support what they do. There's some great places to eat. We love Cultiva. We're going there after this video. This place has feel-good cuisine. It's farm-to-table style. And you guys, that brings us to this moment where we're sitting right now.
Wow, Jeff.
We just did that.
We did. That was really good processing for us, actually.
These kind of videos are a great way for us to digitally journal what we just experienced. It allows us to process, but it's great for us to convey what we just did so you can get a sense of what your Kenya safari can look like. These are the kind of experiences I love crafting and curating for all types of travelers. If you're feeling inspired from this video and want to kickstart the plan making process, please reach out to me. My safari inquiry form again is linked below. Here's the QR code. Scan that. It'll send you to my website. I would love to start having a conversation with you to craft together a trip like this. This was just the second half of our mega safari. We also have an itinerary video covering the northern and central parts of Kenya where we explored. If you're curious about those conservancies, those parks, check out that video next. Final word, Shelley?
This has been the trip of a lifetime, easily one of the best months of my entire life. And I might be a little biased, but not really. I would trust Jeff with planning my safaris for the rest of my life, but not just my own. I would trust him planning anybody's safari.
Aw, it was my pleasure to have you along.
Reach out to him.
Please reach out. I can't take full credit though, Shelley. I work with such phenomenal local operators, these hospitality brands that provide these exceptional services. The groups I work with, I have close personal relationships with. They're ones I trust. You've had the chance to meet several of them throughout our travels. I feel so lucky to have these connections and have the keys to the Safari Kingdom. And now I want to offer that to people like you.
So hit him up.
So hit me up. Thanks again, you guys, for watching. I hope you feel inspired to visit Kenya. Please reach out if you want to learn more about safari travel. That's what this channel is all about. Hit subscribe for more adventures.
Until later.
We'll see you next time.
Bye, guys. Nice.